Out in the open ocean, the darkest hours are usually the quietest. But suddenly, a missile tears through the night sky, striking directly at a commercial vessel navigating the waters. The target was the Setebello, a Palau-registered oil tanker. Upon impact, the vessel sustained severe damage and immediately began taking on water. Trapped on board were 24 Indian crew members. This map highlights the strike region, the narrow choke point of the Strait of Hormuz and Gulf of Oman. It's a contested waterway caught in the crossfire of U.S.-Iran tensions. The ship was operating 20 nautical miles off the Omani coastline, agonizingly close to safety. The crew issued immediate distress calls. Omani authorities launched an emergency rescue operation, pulling 21 Indian sailors from the damaged vessel. But as the smoke cleared, 3 crew members remained missing. 3 days earlier, another ship carrying an Indian crew was targeted in these same waters. This strike on the Setebello marked the second such incident in a single week. The identification of the attacker turned this tragedy into a diplomatic crisis. The missile came from the United States Navy. Now, New Delhi had to decide how to react to a strategic ally that had put Indian lives in the crosshairs. To understand India's reaction, we have to look at what happened during that first attack 3 days prior. India stayed silent. They didn't lodge a protest or issue a statement, primarily because all 24 sailors in that initial incident were safely rescued. But the disappearance of 3 citizens in the Setebello strike crossed a strict red line. The Indian government abandoned its previous silence and triggered an immediate severe response. They immediately summoned the U.S. Deputy Chief of Mission in New Delhi, compelling the American envoy to officially answer for the attack. Through this meeting, India issued what is known as a demarche. In the formal vocabulary of international relations, a demarche is a heavy-handed diplomatic instrument used to lodge an official complaint against another sovereign state. It is not a polite request for clarification. It is an aggressive demand for accountability and a formal registration of state-level protest. This chart visualizes the diplomatic escalation ladder. Allies normally handle disputes at the bottom rungs using routine communications. India bypassed those steps entirely, jumping straight to a demarche. This bold move, just one step below expelling diplomats, signals a period of extreme friction. They did this under the geopolitical doctrine of strategic autonomy. India cooperates deeply with the U.S. on intelligence, defense, and the Indo-Pacific strategy. Yet they simultaneously buy weapons from Russia and maintain direct economic ties with Iran. By issuing this demarche, India leveraged that autonomy. They reminded Washington that buying American hardware and sharing strategic goals does not require submission when Indian citizens are caught in the crossfire. While the immediate priority remains the search and rescue of the 3 missing men, New Delhi's forceful reaction is driven by a much larger demographic reality. India provides the world's largest seafaring population. Hundreds of thousands work on merchant vessels, and 10 million live across the Gulf. Because of this massive scale, if a ship is struck in any global conflict zone, Indian citizens will mathematically be on board. The entire physical economy, the steady flow of oil, energy, and commercial goods, relies heavily on this specific workforce continuing to navigate dangerous waters. Staying silent would set a precedent for how Indian crews are treated in future Gulf skirmishes. It would suggest that New Delhi views its overseas workforce as a secondary concern when compared to its military alliances. Instead, India reiterated its demand for absolute freedom of navigation and the guaranteed safety of its maritime workers, regardless of the surrounding conflict. By drawing a hard line against the United States, India sent an uncompromising message. In a chaotic multipolar world, New Delhi will act as a fierce protector of its diaspora, no matter whose military fires the missile.